Hey friends, today's an exciting day because we're diving into the reflection process of reflecting on your student teaching experience. Over the past year, a lot of students have came into my life with big, audacious visions of who they hope to be as an educator. I have to say, I absolutely love it. I love being able to be a part of their hopes and dreams for their future classrooms. It fuels my soul when I hear about the impact they're hoping to make. As much as I love listening to their big, hairy, scary goals, though, as their coach, it's also my job to challenge them and push them even further past their comfort zone so that they can truly accomplish all of their desires and be able to make a lasting impact on their students. Although I haven't had a chance to meet you yet or have had the privilege to be your coach, I still want you to know that I truly do care about the journey that you're on, and I absolutely want to continue to push you past your comfort zone. If you're anything like me, being vulnerable and putting my feelings on paper is the absolute worst, which honestly is why I wait until the last minute to write and record these podcasts. Being open and letting you in on my world is a scary thing, even if you don't think it is. However, the only person I'm asking you to share your reflections with today is yourself.
Welcome to the North Dakota Teaching Podcast. Whether you're a first-year teacher, veteran teacher, or just a mom trying to gain some new insights, you are right where you are meant to be. Kayla Durkin, founder of the Blossoming Teacher course, is passionate about helping new teachers blossom into the teacher they were born to be. Kayla wants to help inspire teachers to be their best self, whether that means sharing about personal or professional development, self-care, or the latest and most effective teaching strategies. Through this podcast, you will hear from real teachers sharing their stories about teaching, all with one main goal in mind: to be able to make an impact and help other teachers blossom. And with that, here is your host, Kayla Durkin.
Okay, can I just start off by asking, how is it already the last week of February? It was literally Christmas break like 8 seconds ago. Since time is flying by, that means many of you could already be nearing the end of your student teaching experience. Crazy, I know. However, I do have a few friends who just started their experience this week, which is also insane to me. Wherever you are in your journey, though, this episode is for you. Whether you're ready to begin reflecting right now or you need to wait a few weeks, I'll be here. The definition of reflect is to think deeply or carefully about, which is something we naturally do every single day. Sometimes we just need a little push to take things one step further. As you transition from student teacher to first year teacher, having not only the skill but also the desire to reflect on your day is going to be so beneficial. I am naturally my own worst critic and I overanalyze everything, but that has definitely helped me blossom into the teacher that I was born to be. It's so important to take time to think through and reflect on our day, and not just on the things that didn't go so well. We want to be sure to reflect on the things that went really, really good too, so that we can take a mental note of why those things went well and continue to try and build on those skills or those strategies as we teach every single day. Today, though, we're going to be focusing our time on our student teacher reflection. If you haven't done so already, be sure to head to ndteaching.com/reflection so that you can print your reflection guide. If you missed it, it's ndteaching.com/reflection. So go grab your guide, get it printed out, and be ready to start reflecting. Of course, if you're listening to this in the car while you're driving, while you're cleaning your apartment, or while you're working out, simply take time to think through these answers, and then you can print your guide whenever you have time and you can go through and write your answers for later. I really do want you to take time to write these out because I want you to keep this in a very special place, and I'll explain why in just a bit. So whether you have your guide in front of you or not, the very first question that we have is my favorite memory from student teaching. The reason why I started with that question is because I want you to take time to think about something that was so amazing, something that made you so proud of yourself, something that made you smile, a story from a student, a conversation that you had, anything that you think you'll want to remember for the rest of your life. And of course, if you need more space, flip your paper over and write on the back, grab a sticky note, whatever you need to do. The next one I put on there is my favorite quotes from student teaching. Now you might be thinking, why would I want to write that down? And honestly, you are going to want to write that down because you're going to want to remember these things so you can look back and think of those students. This isn't one from when I was student teaching, but my first year of teaching, I had a student come in from recess and he goes, "Smells like Copenhagen in here." Like, what? You're a fourth grader. How do you even know what Copenhagen is? So, anyway, those are the quotes you'll want to write down because you might think that you'll remember them, but so many things are going to come up throughout your years that you might forget. So, just put it on your reflection guide. Up next, we have 3 reasons why I'm proud of myself. Sometimes it's going to be hard to think about why we're proud of ourselves, but we have to do it anyway because every single day, whether it's the smallest thing or not, we are making a difference and we need to take time to celebrate our wins. After that, we have one that's a little bit more challenging. It says, 3 things that didn't go well. Why didn't they go well? How could I improve? So, of course, we don't want to be too hard on ourselves, but this is going to be a time for you to think critically about those situations. And sometimes that means putting the blame on ourselves, being able to recognize, like, yep, that happened because I did this. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't planned. I didn't. You know what I mean? You just have to take time to reflect so that you can do better next time. After that, we have things I've seen that inspire me. You are going to see so many inspiring things throughout your teaching career, and hopefully, you've already had a chance to see some things that have inspired you while you're student teaching. So, this is where you're going to write those down. You might not know it yet, but the things that are inspiring you right now to this day might come full circle later on in your life. And when you look back and read this, you're going to be like, wow, I had no idea that from that instance, that's why this next chain of events happened. After things that inspire you, you're going to want to write down some things you want to do or some things you want to try in your own classroom. The reason why I want you to write these down is because you might be thinking right now, I'm going to remember I want to do this, but your own classroom is up to 6 months away. You might not remember, so you'll want to look back on this and say, oh yeah, I do still want to do that. Or maybe, I don't think I want to try that anymore. The next one is things I saw that I want to do differently. If I'm being honest, you might see some things that you're thinking, I absolutely will not do that in my classroom. And take a chance to write it down. Who knows? Later on, you might want to try it. You might remember 5 years down the road that you still want to do it differently. But this is your time to just write it out and see where it takes you. After that, this would be a question for if you've already finished your student teaching, but things I wish I would have had a chance to try. The reason I want you to write these down is because I want you to remember the things that you felt like you didn't learn enough about or that you didn't get the opportunity to try out, so that if you are ever in a position where you're talking to someone who's going to have a student teacher, you can share that experience with them. After that, we have things I would still like to learn more about, things I feel really confident about, things I want to remember forever, and after that, we have the line that says anything else. The reason I want you to share things that you're feeling confident about is because I want you to be proud of all of the work that you are doing every single day. Whether you realize it or not, you're making a big difference and you are making an impact on the students that you have in your student teaching experience. The last page we have here in our reflection guide is a chance for you to write a letter to yourself. We have no idea where you're going to be in 3, 4, 5, or even 10 years. We don't know what your journey is going to look like. However, if by chance eventually you do have your own student teacher in your classroom, I want you to take some time now to write a letter to your future self telling you all of the great things about your student teaching experience, things you wish you would have learned, things you wish you would have had a chance to try, how you felt while you were student teaching, how others made you feel. Did you feel awesome? Did you feel on top of the world? Was your experience less than you hoped for? This is a chance to write a letter to yourself so that when you have a student teacher, you can remember all of those things. And even if your student teaching experience was awesome, this is still a fantastic opportunity for you to make it even better for your future student teacher. So the prompt on this page says, Dear future me, exciting news. You're about to have a student teacher. Remember when you were student teaching? There were so many lessons learned, good and bad. Let me tell you about just a few of them. I also want to take some time to remind you how it felt to be a student teacher. how others in the building perceived you, what you wished you would have learned, things you loved, your relationship with your cooperating teacher, and so much more. Sometimes it's hard to put my feelings into words, but here goes nothing. Before you begin writing, I really do want you to take time to think through what you want to put in this letter. I don't expect you to create a draft and then revise your draft and then make a final copy, but grab a sticky note and just think through some of the things that you want to put in this letter, because if you ever do have a student teacher, you really will wish that you would have taken this letter seriously. There are so many more things that you could reflect on besides what I just put in this guide for you. And I really do hope that you take the time to challenge yourself and to think through those things, even if they're not in this guide. And as you continue on, as you go through your teaching journey, I really do hope that you take time every single day while you're driving home, while you're getting ready in the morning, whatever it is, to just think through how things are going for you, to remember that sometimes you have to put the blame on yourself, but to also remember that you cannot be so hard on yourself. Before we go here today, I do want to remind you our free video series is coming up. It's 3 weeks away from today, which while you're listening to this would be from yesterday. So in 3 weeks from yesterday, our free video series is starting, and these videos are going to come straight to your inbox. If you want to get on the waitlist, you can head to ndteaching.com/waitlist. And starting on March 16th, these videos will just start magically appearing inside your email. If you love sneak peeks like me, on the 16th, we're going to talk about staying true to who you are as a teacher. On the 17th, we'll be talking about parents, and I'll also be sharing with you how I refer to parents. On the 18th, managing your time. On the 19th, applying for jobs. And then, beginning on the evening of the 19th through the 22nd, I am going to be doing a live webinar every single night. This is going to be our chance to finally meet each other, for you to ask any questions that you have, and for me to be there to support you in any capacity that I can. This video series is going to honestly be so much fun. We'll be talking about going through interviewing tips, the interviewing process, what to ask during your interview, what to look for in a district, what to ask the principal, things to do during your interview, what to wear to an interview. As for managing your time, we'll be talking about self-care, how to get things done, how to beat that overwhelm, some organizational tips. For our parents, we'll be talking about good relationships, contacting them before school, effective parent communication, involving the parents. Seriously, so many things. I don't want you to miss out. If you're not on the waitlist, be sure you head to ndteaching.com/waitlist so that these videos can appear directly into your inbox and so that you can watch them whenever it is most convenient for you. Alrighty, friends, that's all for today. I just want to remind you as well that our student teaching series on this podcast is going to quickly come to an end. We only have 3 more weeks of student teaching episodes before we transition into our first year teacher series. Yay! Can't wait for that. Get excited. So many awesome things are coming. Again, I know I keep adding more things, but don't forget to grab that reflection guide. I really do want you to take some time to fill it out so that 3, 4, 5 years down the road, you can take some time to look back on your student teaching reflection and honestly just look at how far you've came. You'll be able to look and be like, wow, those were the things I was worried about then, and now I'm confident in all of those areas. It's going to be such a great chance for you to see how much you've grown and honestly how you've blossomed into the teacher that you were born to be. So grab your guide, fill it out. If you'd love to chat more, please send me a direct message on Instagram. My DMs are always open to you. I can't wait to start chatting, and until then, I will see you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the North Dakota Teaching Podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. We really appreciate that effort. Be sure to tune in to the next episode for more teaching tips to make an impact. Until next time.